I want to talk about uh, my Paladin decks here. On my blog, I was asked to speak about a couple. Let's get some opinions on my Paladin deck, or rather, how I play it and how I actually think it works. And for some experience, like I played the whole last season with Paladin, exclusively Paladin, only Paladin. And it worked out pretty well. I got rank 8, which I didn't push much. I didn't grind. So I just got a little good result. I didn't put much effort into it. And although this season I've been playing Warlock mostly, I want to talk about Paladins. I've been playing some matches against friends that are very high ranked. They're quite good, and I've been having some success with my Paladin decks. So here I'm going to talk about the default and most usual Paladin deck that like a lot of people run a variation of this deck. Like I'm not even gonna comment like equality and pyromancer. I do think that only one pyromancer is required. You don't really need to unless you want to play it like a minion, and I don't ever do it. You can just hero power turn 2, so never find a need to play the pyromancer like a minion. And turn 2 hero power is actually viable for Paladin. Or I can just coin Harvest Golem. Sometimes it's the best option, but usually I just save the coin for True Silver Champion. Like most of the time, I save the coin for True Silver Champion. It's too good. Like there's no reason not to. Like people drop like 3/3s and knife jailers or wondering Farseers and stuff, and I can just remove it with the True Silver Champion. There's little to no risk of playing the True Silver Champion. Like, oh, okay, I can get use, but not many people run use, and that's standard. Like, I don't need to get into much detail here. The Sunfury Protector is really a staple choice. It's a really good card to get in the deck because you can always taunt your 1/1 dudes. You can taunt like Harvest Golem and Guardian of Kings, even Rag. Sometimes taunting Rag is not a really good choice. You're gonna get a Black Knight, but taunting card is really good. It's just a good card overall. I feel very safe to run it. Sometimes you can play it as a minion turn 2 also, but yeah, sometimes you need to evaluate. Like if you play the hero power by yourself, and my weapons, just I fix the webcam. If you play the hero power on turn 2 and you're not as comfortable as doing it, and you have a Sunfury, you can play the Sunfury. Sometimes you can trade with valuable stuff like Direwolf Alpha, which is not usually played on turn 2 by himself, but you get the idea. You can trade for minions, and it's not as easy to remove like say Knife Juggler because a Knife Juggler is all it takes to remove him is like 2 damage. You can Arcane Missiles, you can Claw and stuff like that. No, Sunfury it's much more difficult. Like a lot of people running Ardent Squire, I feel the Sunfury Protector is a really good choice. And Knife Juggler is not really suitable for this deck. Simple, but I don't have many low cost minions. And while this deck is kind of mid range, it has a lot of force, which I'm going to comment soon. But it's kind of mid range. There's not much to it, and I feel safe running it against everything. Like bad matchups would be druids. Druids are actually kind of hard to deal with as the paladin because they have a lot of silences, they have a lot of damage, and like good minions that are very hard to kill by yourself. So if they don't overcome it, into equality and consecration or equality and pyromancy. Uh, you don't usually get what you're looking for, so it's really hard. What I like about this deck is really it's very solid. It gets matches again, good matches against every class. Like it has the Spellbreaker. I wanna emphasize on the Spellbreaker. Some people don't think it's useful enough. Some people like Owl. Some people like Owl. And for Paladin, I don't think the Owl works at all because the Owl it just gets pinged, it just gets killed so easily. The Spellbreaker is much more of a nuisance in the sense that it can actually trade with stuff and not just get pinged. And I'm talking about just mage, like Druids can easily kill Owl, and Mortal Coil can kill Owl, Earth Shock, Totems, minions, like tokens, anything can kill Owl, and Spellbreaker is much more resilient. So sometimes it just like you're facing a handlock which you're playing turn 2 dude, and turn 3 probably dude or Harvest Golem. Mostly, most of the time just dude. And then he plays the Twilight Drake and he plays Spellbreaker. Bye bye Twilight Drake. So yeah, it's really useful. It's not just the only situation it's useful. You can get it to kill Karn, you can get it to kill Sylvanas and Tyrion. Other cards that can be silenced and they lose the entirety of their potential. So Spellbreaker is really good. It acts as a minion, so you can taunt, you can buff him, you can do stuff. The Big Game Hunter is a no-brainer. It's in my opinion, the Big Game Hunter is really OP because there's always gonna be a 7 attack minion like Rag. Rag is really popular, so Big Game Hunter is really useful in all situations against all decks. Oh my god, I'm facing like Rounder Rush. Okay, the Big Game Hunter is not gonna be good, but it's still a minion, so you can put it on the table and trade. Like the least, at the very least, is a 4-2, and it potentially kills a card for free and then plays a 4-2. They're doing Frost here, of course. This deck is really not the fastest deck ever, so sometimes you're gonna fall behind. That's when the Arteming Farseer comes up, so you can actually pull back into the game and take advantage by healing yourself. It's also a minion. Namochao's Faceless Manipulator is really good, especially against Rag. Like, play the Faceless Manipulator against Rag. You have a Rag, and then you begin Hunter to enemy Rag. You can equality, you can do a lot of stuff. You get a point, so it's really useful. Then Avenging Wrath, I never felt the need to run 2 Avenging Wraths. I like one. I like to use it as removal. Sometimes I use it for damage, but only if I can get lethal or very close to lethal and like get such a huge lead that the opponent cannot recover into it. Like there's a hunter, he has a 2-1 on the board, and like I don't have much to kill it. I just have Avenging Wrath. It's guaranteed to kill the 2-1 and deal 7 damage. It's really good. Of course, if I have a board, if I don't, I probably just play a token or play something. Karn is a no-brainer. So Guardian is a no-brainer. It's a really good card. 6 health heal is very powerful, and it's a 5/6. It's not the best on budget, but the 6 health is really important, especially against aggro. Lay on hands. It's sort of a recovery mechanism, so if you fall behind, you can still get this. It's not really useful against, let's say, control decks, because you have to put something on the board. You always have to have something on the board, and if you don't, you just fall behind. So by playing Lay on Hands, you're taking a big risk. If your board is not big enough, you're gonna fall behind. So be careful. It's a great card. It's a really good to have it on this deck, especially against like mages, hunters, warlocks. You get the boost that you need and draw 3 cards. It's really awesome. Rag and Tyrion. Rag I don't need to talk anything about it. It's just Rag. It wins games. It's really useful. And Tyrion, Tyrion is a really good card. Even if it gets silenced, and people will save silence for it. Sometimes you go the whole game without playing Tyrion, and like the enemy is just sitting on Hex, and he doesn't want to Hex like card because then you play Tyrion, he doesn't have a Hex. So they're letting you go away, get away with card because you have Tyrion in your deck. You supposedly have Tyrion. And sometimes you can sneak Tyrion before the guy even draws into Hex, or he wasted it on something else like card. And you play Tyrion, they don't have an answer, or you play Picard, then you play Rag, they both get hexed. Yeah, no, yada yada. It's really bad, but then you get to play Tyrion. It's really good. It saves you a lot of trouble. Like it's think of it as a buffed Sunwalker. It's a 6/6 instead of 4/5, and if it dies on the board, you gotta keep Ashbringer. Sometimes I deliberately make him die. Like I purposefully trade him into like I do a bad trade with him just to get the Ashbringer before people can silence him. It's really useful. So well, enough talk about this deck. I would I would actually like to feature some games, but that's really not the moment. I don't think I I don't think I should feature casual. It's just stupid. I can run into someone like really running a fun deck. Sorry. I'm kind of made sick. Someone just running a fun deck and perhaps I get out trolled and it's just really not a good way to showcase it. I will showcase it later. And this Paladin deck, the second Paladin deck, it's actually very interesting. I've played this season sometimes, and the same thing I only run on one Pyromancer. It's a giant deck. I run 2 Twilight Drakes, 2 Molten Giants, and it's really good. It's really cool because it's really different. Not something you expect from Paladin. I did get some inspirations from people like on Fight Night. It's kind of obvious. I did not build this deck myself. The other one I did build, but it's not really creative at all. It's just standard Paladin. This here is very different. So in this deck I run Holy Light. Why not the Eldraine instead of the Holy Light? Just because the Holy Light is so cheap and it's so effective. You actually are going to drop very low with this deck and you have to have the balls to take it. I just remain calm. Oh, I'm 12 HP. Can the guy kill me? No, okay, so I'm just saving Holy Light. There's absolutely no way he can kill me, so save it, then you get to play Molten Giant next turn, or Alexstrasza, and it's really strong. It's really, really strong. Some particularities on this deck. I only run on one Argus, that's questionable. But since I have so many heals, I don't often feel threatened enough to need to have that extra taunt. And this deck, there is no way in the world that I'm gonna play some for the Protector or Argus without giving taunt to something big. There's no way. Like, turn 2, Hero Power, turn 3, Hero Power, turn 4, Twilight Drake or Mountain Giant. That's the usual procedure. If you don't get it, if you don't get the cards that you need to play, it sucks. It really sucks. This deck is really not as solid as the other deck. This deck is really about taking risk, and by taking risk, I mean really taking risk. So play Twilight Drake, get Earth Shock, you play Mountain Giant, get Hex, you play another Mountain Giant, get Hex, Mountain Giant, you get a big Game Hunter. Sometimes it just doesn't work, but uh, if you're facing like standard situation, you're playing something like a Druid or a Warrior or even a Paladin, and you get to have some tempo on because of Tyler Drake or the Molten Giant, you actually can get ahead. You can win a lot of games with this. I actually have a very good win rate in this deck. Sometimes you lose, sometimes it just doesn't work out, but you got to couple with that. Like this deck is not about winning all the matches, but winning most of them. Let's comment a bit on the cards. The Auto Peacekeeper, I think it is really important in this deck. It's a really good card. Sometimes you just get the tempo out of the opponent just by getting that pesky giant to one attack. It's really good. Big Game Hunter. I think this is just because I just love Big Game Hunter. It's really not the card that I'm rather excited to see on this deck. It's just here because it's here. It's a way to fight control decks. Because I really have a very good time against aggro with this deck. I have the quality, I have the consecration, I have pyromancer, I have a lot of heals. Like if people go overly aggressive on me, I can just play the molten giant. No one ever expects a molten giant of Paladin. It's really unusual. Like it's not really, oh my god, I Paladin, a molten giant, never expected it. Like it's unusual. It's not like, I mean, Shaman playing molten giant. Like if someone builds a deck with molten giant as a shaman and actually manage to do something, please send me the video. It's just, I never seen it before. So, alright, so I'm gonna say Tyler Drakes. It's really weak against shaman. It's somewhat weak against druid, especially token druid. But against all other classes, it's really strong. So if you're facing a shaman, just mulligate your Twilight Ray. Or yeah, you got the idea. Don't don't rely on them. Okay, Molten Giant can get hexed, but yeah, this gets dumped by Earth Shock, and they still have like 3 4 mana to play on this turn, and you just lose. So this card is a risk. This deck is a risk. So I think it's important to take risks. The Faceless Manipulator, I don't even need to explain. This is a very good card. You can copy your Giants, Alexstrasza, stuff. Avenging Wrath, same reason as the other deck. It can be used as removal, especially with quality, especially with Consecration. Just damage. It's overall great card. Karn. Karn is really OP. I don't want him to get nerfed, but yeah, it's just a Yeti for 2 mana more, but it's like Yeti with Ancestral Spirit on one card. Like 2 cards on one. It really is useful. It's really hard to remove also. Guardian, I need heals. Lay on hands, I need heals. Rag, I need rag. Tyrion is also great. Alexstrasza is growing to be one of my favorite cards of all time. Like it's really useful. You're not gonna deal damage early on at all. Best you can do is like play the giants. Oh, and I play the giants. They're good for face now. You really need to get like out tempo the opponent. Get giants on the table. You get the board. And get people. You get to trade with minions. A lot of minions, like 2 for 1, 3 for 1, and possibly you can still heal them, but it's not really effective. Oh, it is effective, but it's unusual. Actually, you have to use yourself. And then, like turn 9, ban on Extraza, and you attack with 2 giants, GG. The guy was 30 HP, and then suddenly You attack with two giants, and I play extras attack with two giants. GG. It's really hard to recover on for an extras, and of course you can use it on yourself. Sometimes you have to heal, but like against hunters, you're really gonna have to wait for the extras on yourself. But have to scout the situation. If you can get extras aggressively and actually do something with it, it's really good. But if you heal yourself against a hunter enough times, they just run out of steam. I had hunters fatigue against me really often, and they just don't have anything to kill me. I have so much heals, so many heals, and they actually have to sometimes trade into my minions because they have taunt. They're huge. They don't want to take like massive damage from them. That's when the mountain giants and giants come into play. Twilight Drake is really good because it's just a 410 or 49 is it's really no brainer. Against hunters, they can get silenced, but you know sometimes it's just worth it to play the Drake and get a lot of tempo. They won't immediately silence you. Uh, they're rather uncharacteristic to silence you, like against hunters. I have a lot of good matchups against hunters. Times I lose, it's just, oh my god, I'm 9 HP. Guy has two cards in hand. There's no way he can kill me. Oh wait, he top deck another kill command. Timberwolf kill command, kill command. Okay, so it's kind of tough, but it's really unusual. I win a lot against hunters. I win a lot against many decks. The deck is really good. It's not as stable. It's really a lot of risk, but you can profit out of it. I kind of like it.